So, game plan going into tomorrow. So, kind of had a heavy session towards the end, right? Kind of the entire day. Sellers were in control. I thought we were gonna have a recovery bounce on the intraday at the 755. We did. We tried to. Right, buyers definitely stepped up here and tried to defend the 755. We had a nice bounce, but then obviously we gave it up, which is normal. Right, we just pretty much had this consolidation, and we knew a range break was going to come to either side, which was going to be longs over 760 or shorts under 755. And the bears ended up pretty much just being in control all day today, as you can see. Um, so going into tomorrow, right, what am I looking for? So today we got the breakout here of our 755. So I would be looking for either a pop and fade off of 755 or a short under 748. This is a big deal. So far this week has still been an inside bar week. This is previous week's lows to 748. So if we get under that, right, we're breaking last week lows and we can see some continuation lower to the downside here. So even if we reclaim 755 tomorrow or at the bottom of the range, you could definitely look for that. You're getting in at the bottom of the range before it gets back to the top. I'm not really fond of that one. If I really want to go long, I'll just wait, for this break over 760. And then of course the higher time frame setup is going to be this pullback long off of 744. But tomorrow I'm looking for a pop and fade, 755 shorts under 748. If you go here on the daily, now you can see we're still like very strong here. This is still very strong. Look at this very nice trend that we've been in. So this is all, pretty much I wouldn't even say we're starting a pullback yet. I think we would need like two more solid days of daily, red down close candles to even say that, but we'll see. We got the range break today, which is solid. Barely, right? Key level 755, we broke and closed around 754.24. So barely got it, but we got it. So pop and fade off of this or shorts off of that. Now, for pullback longs on the higher time frame, it's going to be the 744. Right, we were in a range in here. We ended up gapping above, got the break. If we can see buyers step up at 744, that's the dip buy. Right, we still have to turn this channel here into support. So that's the game plan going into tomorrow on SPY. As for Qs, very, very strong. There's really no higher time frame, objective here on Qs. Qs is definitely stronger than the SPY. You can see the difference between the daily candles, pretty much almost a hammer stick candle here. On Qs, Qs was even showing relative strength, pre-market compared to SPY. So we know Qs is definitely stronger than the SPY. You can see just very nice uptrend here on the Qs. So tomorrow, the only thing I'll be looking for on Qs is a short under 735. Other than that, pretty much no trade for me here on Qs. If you want to take a trade on Qs, just look for the break and retest over the previous day high for that continuation higher. As you can see, the higher time frame setup, I'm still waiting for this. Just pull back long off of 722. Right, we're sitting in a channel in between 696 and 722. So I still want to see this channel turn into support. That's the only higher time frame setup that I have here on Qs. Other than that, just mark out your PDH. And if you really want to trade it, just look for continuation above that. If we want to stay heavy, I'm definitely looking for shorts under 735. We'll be under the previous day low. It'd be a trend line break as well. It's a 4-hour key level, 735 psychological whole number. So I'll definitely be watching that on the Qs. But if that doesn't set up, I'm pretty much just hands off here on the Qs. So I'll definitely keep, focus here on SPY tomorrow. Shorts under 755, shorts under 748. And if we pull all the way back to 744, you would want to look for buyers to step up here and see if you can go long on that dip buy. Tesla, this thing has been pretty much like on the dot regarding our analysis. I'll go here on the weekly time frame. I'll set this on the weekly outlook, and Tesla's really just been consolidating right on this weekly time frame. It's just been stuck in this range in between 554 and 416, and it's been defending 416 very, very well. So you can see the last 4 weeks, 4 months, the body of the candle on the weekly is closed in between these two key levels. So we're just stuck pretty much in this range here on the weekly time frame. So if you feel like you've been getting faked out a lot or Tesla's been difficult to trade, well, it's because it's consolidating on the weekly time frame. So what am I looking for going into tomorrow? Same thing today, right? Shorts under 416, longs over 435. You can see so far this week, every single day this week, today's Wednesday? Look at that. Every time we pulled a 416, buyers just step up and push this thing higher. Today we pulled back here on the dot. We had a dip and rip, and this thing pushed all the way up to the top of the range. So I like to see the reactions here. You can see 435, strong area, and then 416, strong area. So either way, break to either side. I like it because you're getting under the previous day low or above the previous day high. If we can give up this 416, we've defended this 3 days in a row now. If we can give this up, we can see new lows on the week. We're also under the previous day low, and it's a weekly level. So, and it's a range break as well on the weekly time frame. So a lot of confluences here at this 416. So I would definitely watch that. That's going to be my main focus here tomorrow on Tesla. And then of course, right, if we gap down under 416, you'll be looking for a pop and fade off of that. So main focus there tomorrow on Tesla. Today, beautiful analysis here on NVIDIA, right? You ended up getting that break and retest under 218. I ended up skipping the trade because I was playing with zeros, and I don't really like taking shorts or longs when we're wicking off a key level. I would prefer a candle closure. and then wait for that new candle to form and then play the momentum of that candle. Just based on my data, my statistics, I have a higher win percentage waiting for the candle to close compared to, taking a wick off a key level. So not really one of my favorite entries. So I actually skipped this, but thesis was correct. Today was a cash day. We've taken 2 trades in a row this week. So far, a really, really good week. With our smallest win being, 15%. So just a little bit more conservative here because I was playing with zeros. I didn't like it, so skip the trade. Going into tomorrow, if you go here on the daily, let's see what we do here on the video. And the video is pretty interesting. We ended up having this head and shoulders. I think that was like on the 1 hour, but you can see this 230, very strong here. We push into this. We keep, getting slapped in the face every time we get up there. And then you can see we ended up breaking this weekly level on the daily. So we ended up just having a peak and fail. Today, I was actually looking to see, okay, can buyers step up here? Or we got the breakout this day, looking for the retest here. We're still very bullish on the higher time frame. So I was seeing if we can, stair step higher, but we didn't. So tomorrow, what am I looking for on the video? If we get there, pretty much shorts under this 207. This is a 4 hour key level, even kind of a daily. You can see here being respected very well. 3 days in a row respected, and then a reaction here and a reaction here. So some solid reactions at this 407. I'm sorry, 207. So if we get under that, you're also under the previous day low, right? Definitely looking for that. Other than that, I'm pretty much hands off here. I don't really care too much to look for a pop and fade off of that. I mean, you can. It's very valid. Today you got the break. You will just look for the retest tomorrow. But we're still very, very bullish on the higher time frame here. Very bullish. So it is a weekly level. So you can definitely look for that, tomorrow, a pop and fade off of that. But I highly doubt I'll get a setup on the video tomorrow. Now, if we can get over 218, right, I do like that if that sets up, but I don't really like how it looks. But you can clearly see we're still very bullish here on the higher time frame, still moving to the upside. This week, right, it looked like we were actually going to get to all-time highs yesterday. I thought we were. We weren't that far away. We ended up breaking over 230, but it just ended up being a peak and fell. So based on where Nvidia is sitting right now, don't really like it. You can see we're just kind of like back in this range, right under 218. This has really been the key level on Nvidia for what, almost 3 trading weeks now. But you can see we just held it as support, then we turned it into resistance. So you can look for a pop and fade off of that, but I don't really care to play in this channel. Just not a high probability environment for me. So I would like the range break under 207 if that sets up. Like I said, you can look for longs over 218 tomorrow, but just based on how the daily candle closed today, it will still be an inside bar day. So I don't really like it as much. So the only thing I'm looking for tomorrow in the video is just short under 207 if we get there. We won't know until we know. Apple is still relatively strong compared to the overall market. This thing is still making all-time highs, which is wild. Today we pushed up. For the sake of simplicity, I'm just going to round that to 317, but we ended up pushing up to 316.95. And you can see the last 2 days pretty strong here. We had a very strong open, made new all-time highs. Seller stepped in, which is expected. And you can see right now during the after hours, we're already back at the top of the range. So Apple's really, really strong compared to the overall market. So I don't like a trade-off for 313 tomorrow, right? That's just me. The reason for that being context matter. If you take a trade off of this, you're dead smack in between, the previous day high and the previous day low. So that's just not really a high probability environment for me. In between 313 and 308 is a range. So you can definitely look right for this range to turn into support. You can see there's a lot of thin volume around 313, a lot of thin volume. We always break through it and we just rip right under it. So a lot of thin volume there. So I would just read it. Me personally, this is the higher probability setup for me. You can see here previous day high, previous day low. So on Apple, range break under 308 or new all-time highs here over 317. Very simple there, right? You're letting your trade come near you. You're over the previous day high, you're under the previous day low, and you're taking trades off of key levels. I'm hands off on 313 tomorrow just based on how the daily closed today. If you go here on the 1 hour, right, you can see that short under 308, very strong respected here. It's a range break to the downside, so I do like it. And then if we can get over 317, we could just see new highs here on Apple. By all means, you could definitely look to see if 313 can hold, right? You can see this is the range. You want to see this channel, right? Turn into support, buyers hold that, and then get that push up. It is a lot of thin volume, in this general area. So it's a valid shot. I just don't like that I'm taking a trade dead smack in between the PDH and the PDL. So that's why I'm just hands off. Amazon, right? If you go here on the weekly, I actually cleaned this chart up. So we had a great trade on Amazon yesterday. Rarely touch Amazon. So I cleaned this chart up, and then you can see here on the weekly time frame, we've just been sitting in a channel, in a range on the weekly in between 275 and 256, right? You can see that clear as daylight. And today, what do? We got that range break, 256. So two setups here tomorrow on Amazon. It's either going to be pullback short off of 256. I'll type that out. Pullback short, 256. Why? Because today we got the breakout on the daily displacement candle, which is perfect. So now you want to see the retest here as well. So pullback short off of 256, pop and fade, however you want to call it. And then of course, right, shorts under 248. Key level got respected beautifully today. You can see pretty much how to peak and fail. Very aggressive buyer stepped up here, pushing this thing higher. That's exactly what you want to see before you take a trade off a key level. So very simple tomorrow on Amazon here. Pop and fade 256 or shorts under 248, which is also under the previous day low. So that's a good confluence for me on Amazon. And then what else? Google. So Google was actually on my close watch list today. We ended up just having a very nice bounce at the bottom of the range pre-market, as you can see here at 352. But what do you notice about Google here? Very nice downtrend. Clearly, right? It's a very nice downtrend being respected. So I'm looking for shorts under 351. You're also under the previous day low. If that sets up, you'll be making new lows on the week. That's a big deal. So, and it's a range break, right? We're stuck in this range between 378 and 351. So I will be watching Google under 351 tomorrow if that sets up. Of course, if we gap under, then you'll just be looking for a pop and fade. I have a hard rule where I don't touch anything if spreads are wider than 15 cents. So just keep an eye out on the spreads on Google. We can actually check that together right now. Let's see, Google. Yeah, see, like that, not really a fan of. Maybe we could mess around with a limit order, if it gives us an opportunity. But nevertheless, keep an eye out here on this 351. Shorts under that looks really good. And then IWM, I'm watching this. So a lot of things held the range today. You can see clear as daylight here. IWM stuck in this range, stuck in this channel. So I'm looking for the range break. Shorts under 287. All right, if that sets up, and then of course if we gap under, you'll be looking for a pop and fade. Just be cautious on IWM. Open interest is always going to be high. It's always going to be liquid. You can play zeros on it too, but sometimes the volume is fairly low. That's something I definitely would keep an eye out on. Well, I can't use today because it's already the end of the day. It's at zero. So we'll see. When I was looking at it this morning, the volume was not really high. So we'll see how that looks going into tomorrow. But nevertheless, keep an eye out on this range break here on IWM. Uh, who knows? We may bounce after hours pre-market. You never know. We don't have any red folder news tomorrow, so that's something to keep in mind. But this range breaks looks really, really good. If we can get under this 287, we could definitely see some downside here. You're under the previous day low. It's a range break as well. So I would definitely keep an eye out there on IWM. For my main watch going into tomorrow, it's definitely going to be Tesla. Right? Tesla under 416, regarding tech names, of course. Tesla under 416, that looks really good. That's a higher time frame setup. It's a range break on the weekly. You'll be making new lows on the week. If we can get a flush under that, you'll be under the previous day low. So a lot of confluences there. And then Amazon, which is funny because I don't really pay attention to Amazon much, but once it's hot, it's hot. So if Amazon can continue, in this downtrend and get under 248 or give us a pop and fade off of 256, looks pretty solid. Tomorrow's Thursday, so we would play Friday's expiration, so shouldn't be too volatile. Amazon doesn't move that aggressively on the underline, so I'm not really too worried about it. But that is the game plan for tomorrow, and I will see folks in the morning.